Hi, my name is Atif and welcome to 27th part of Real Estate App Development Series. In previous part, we have designed the UI for the property details. Now we will load the property details. So let's start by opening the project in Android Studio. First of all, we need to get the property ID that we have passed in adapter property class while starting the property details activity. Key name is property ID, copy it. Open the property details activity class. We will define a variable in class level to hold that property ID. Private variable type will be string, name will be property ID. Initialize it with the empty string. In onCreate function, we will get it from the intent. Property ID equal to get intent dot get string extra. Paste that property ID key. Now we need to bind the layout file of this activity with this activity class using the view binding. Private activity property details binding. Name it as binding. We will initialize it in onCreate function before set content view. Binding equal to activity property details binding dot inflate. Pass get layout inflator as parameter. And in set content view, remove r.layout dot. Instead, we will pass binding dot get root. Now we need to define a tag in class level. We show logs in log get. Private, static, final, type will be string, name will be tag, equal to property details tag. Whenever we need to show logs in log get, we will use that tag. Now we will show the property ID in the logcat using log.d. First parameter is the tag that we have defined in class level. Second parameter is the message we want to show in logcat, including the property ID. Now we need to define the Firebase auth in class level. Private Firebase auth. Name it as Firebase auth. We will initialize it in the onCreate function. For example, after initializing the property ID. Firebase auth equal to Firebase auth dot get instance. Now we need to hide some UI elements in start of this activity. For example, we need to hide the edit button, binding dot toolbar edit button dot set visibility view dot gone. We will show this button if the property is by currently logged in user. Similarly, we will hide the toolbar delete button. We will show that button if the property is by currently logged in user. Hide the chat button, call button, and SMS button. These button will be shown if the property is not by currently logged in user. Now the next step is to load the property details from the Firebase database. For that, we will create a function private. Return type will be void. Name of the function will be load property details. After creating this function, make sure to call this function after the initialization of Firebase auth. Now come again in the function. Now we need to create an instance of the database reference. Name it as reference equal to Firebase database.get instance.get reference. Pass the reference that is properties. All properties are in this properties reference. Since we need to get the details of a property instead of all properties, so we have passed the property ID using reference.child property ID. Now we need to add a value event listener using dot add value event listener new value event listener. On data change is the function in which we will get the details of the property. This process might cause an exception, so we will enclose it in the try block. Catch block will be called if there is any exception while loading or formatting the property details. In that case, we will show the exception in logcat by passing the exception as third parameter. Now come in the try block and create an instance of the model property from the snapshot, which is the parameter of on data change function. Model property, name it as model property equal to snapshot.getValue pass model property dot class as parameter. This will only work if variable names, their data types are same as in Firebase real-time database. Also, model property class must have an empty constructor. Now we can get the details from the model property class. Seller UID equal to model property dot get UID. Now we will get the price from the model property. Type will be double, name will be price equal to model property dot get price. After that, we have created another variable of type string with name price formatted. This will hold the formatted price using the function format currency, which we have already created in myUtils class. To show the date when the property was published, we need to get the timestamp from the model property. Type will be long, name will be timestamp equal to model property dot get timestamp. After getting the timestamp of the property, we need to get the purpose of the property that is of type string. String name will be purpose equal to model property dot get purpose. After getting the purpose of the property, we will get the category of the property using string category equal to model property dot get category. Now we need to get the property status, for example, if it is available or sold. Property status equal to model property dot get status. We will declare the seller UID, property status, and some other variables in class level because we will need them to use in some other parts of this class. So let's continue getting the data. String subcategory equal to model property dot get subcategory. Now we need to get the number of floors of the property that is of type long. Name will be floors equal to model property dot get floors. Similarly, we need to get the number of bedrooms of the property. Long bedrooms equal to model property dot get bedrooms. And now we also need to get the number of bathrooms. Type will be long, name will be bathrooms equal to model property dot get bathrooms. The next information that we need to get is the area size of the property. Type will be double, name will be area size equal to model property dot get area size. We also need to get the area size unit of the property. Type will be string, name will be area size unit equal to model property dot get area size unit. Okay, now we need to get the title of the property. Type will be string, name will be title equal to model property dot get title. Similarly, we need to get the description of the property. String description equal to model property dot get description. And now, after getting the description of the property, we need to get the address of the property. String name of the variable will be address equal to model property dot get address. Similarly, we need to get the latitude and longitude of the property, which will be of type double. Property latitude equal to model property dot get latitude. We will declare that variable in class level. Now we will also get the longitude of the property. Property longitude equal to model property dot get longitude. These are the latitude and longitude of the property. We will declare them in class level. Now we need to format the date of the property. String formatted date equal to myUtils dot format timestamp date. This requires a parameter of type long, that is timestamp. We have already created that function in myUtils class. This function accepts the timestamp as parameter, which will be of type long, and convert it to proper date format, which will be of type string. We have got the data from Firebase real-time database. Now we will declare the variables in class level that were left to declare in class level. For example, latitude and longitude of the property. Private double property latitude equal to zero point 0.0. Similarly, we will create another variable to hold the longitude of the property, private double property longitude equal to 0.0. Now we also need to create another variable of type string, private string. Name of the variable will be seller UID. Initialize it with empty string. Similarly, we need to create another variable of type string that will be used to hold the phone number of the seller. So name the variable as seller phone, initialize it with the empty string. Create another variable of type string to hold the status of the property available or sold. Name of the variable will be property status. Instead of initializing the seller UID with empty string, we need to initialize it with the null. Okay, now come again in the function load property details. There is a type of in property status variable. Fix it and replace it with the one that we have defined in class level. Now the next step is to show and hide some UI elements based on if this property is by currently logged in user or not. For that we will create a condition if seller UID dot equals Firebase auth dot get UID. This condition will be called if this property is added by currently logged in user. In that case, we will hide and show some UI elements. For example, we need to show the edit and delete options. Binding dot toolbar edit button dot set visibility view dot visible. Similarly, we need to show the delete option. Toolbar delete button dot set visibility view dot visible. And we need to hide some options, for example, chat, call, SMS, and seller profile. Starting with the chat button, binding dot chat button dot set visibility, view dot on. Also hide the call button and SMS button and seller profile option that is available with the ID seller profile CV. CV means card view. And we also need to hide the label that is available with the ID seller profile label text view. Now we need to create an else statement which will be called if this property is not by currently logged in user. Copy this code and paste in the else statement. In this condition, we need to hide the edit and delete options. Toolbar edit button dot set visibility gone and toolbar delete button visibility will be gone. In that condition, we need to show the chat button, call button, SMS button, and seller profile option. Now, the next step is to show or hide the sold label. For that, we need to create a condition if property status dot equal ignore case my utils dot add status sold. This condition will be called if the property owner has marked the property as sold. In that case, we will show the sold card view, binding dot sold CV dot set visibility, view dot visible, and we need to create an else statement that will be called if the property is currently available. In that case, we will hide the sold card view using binding dot sold CV dot set visibility view dot com. So far, we have loaded the data from the Firebase real-time database. Now we need to set that data to UI. Binding dot title TV dot set text pass the title as parameter. This will set the title of the property. Now we need to set the price of the property. Binding dot price text view dot set text pass the price formatted as parameter. After setting the price of the property, we need to show the date of the property when it was published. Binding dot date text view dot set text pass the formatted date as parameter. And now we need to show the property purpose using binding dot purpose text view dot set text pass the purpose of the property. For example, the value will be either buy or rent. Now the next step is to show the property category. Binding dot category text view dot set text pass the category as parameter. Similarly, we need to show the property subcategory using binding dot subcategory text view dot set text. Pass the subcategory as parameter. After setting the subcategory, we need to set the number of floors. Binding dot floors text view dot set text. In the floors text view, we need to show label floors, including the value of the variable floors. Similarly, we need to show the number of bedrooms. Binding dot beds text view dot set text. Label will be bedrooms. Value of the variable will be bedrooms. And in the last, we need to show the number of bathrooms using binding dot bathrooms text view dot set text. Change the label to bathrooms. Variable name is bathrooms. After that, we need to show the area size of the property. Binding dot area size text view. Binding dot area size text view dot set text. Label will be area size. Variable name is area size. We also need to include the area size unit that is available in the variable area size unit. The next information that we need to show is the description of the property. Binding dot description text view dot set text. Pass the description as parameter. After setting the description, we also need to show the address of the property. Binding dot address text view dot set text. Pass the address as parameter. Now the next step is to load the seller information, and we will do that in a separate function. Private return type will be void. Name of the function will be load seller details. After creating the function, make sure to call this function at the end of the try block. Okay, now come again in the load seller details functions and create an instance of the database reference. Name it as reference equal to Firebase database dot get instance dot get reference. In the reference, pass the users. Since we need to get the details of the seller, so we will pass the UID of the seller that we have got from the property details. Reference dot child seller UID dot add value event listener new value event listener. On data change is the function in which we will get the details of the user that is available in the parameter of this function. Name of the parameter is snapshot. So let's start by creating a variable of type string. Name it as phone code. Snapshot dot child. Pass the phone code as parameter. This will get the phone code of the phone number. Similarly, we have created another variable to get the phone number of the user. In the path, pass phone number. We also need to call dot get value. This is really important, so don't miss it. After getting the phone code and phone number, we need to get the seller name. So for that, we will create another variable of type string with name. Name in the path, change the key to name. Similarly, we will get the profile image URL that is of type string. So we have created another variable of type string with name profile image URL, and path will also profile image URL. The key names that we have passed as a path should be same as in Firebase real-time database. After that, we have created another variable of type string to get the timestamp that will be used to show the member since date. Since we have got the timestamp as a string, so in case of null, it will use the null as string value. So we will check if timestamp dot is empty or timestamp dot is equal to null. In that case, we will initialize the timestamp variable with value 0. Currently, it is of type string. We need to convert it to long to format it to proper date format. Now, we will create another variable of type string that will hold the formatted date. So, we have renamed it as formatted date equal to myutils dot format timestamp date. Pass the timestamp as a parameter in the form of long. Using long dot parse long, pass the timestamp as parameter. This will convert the timestamp to long and pass as long variable. Format timestamp date is the function that we have already created in myutils class. Now we need to combine the phone code and phone number and save it in the seller phone variable that we have defined in class level. Seller phone equal to phone code plus phone number. So far, we have got the details of the seller. Now we will set it to UI. Binding dot seller name text view dot set text. Pass the name as parameter. Similarly, we will set the members in state. Binding dot members in text view dot set text. Pass the formatted data as parameter. The next step is to set the profile image of the seller. We will do that in the try catch because this process might cause an exception. In the catch plot, we will print the exception in logcat using log.e, pass the exception as third parameter. Now in the try block, we will set the image to the image view, light.width, pass the context, that is property details.this. Dot load function will be used to load the image that we want to show in image view. And dot placeholder function will be used to show a placeholder image in the image view while the image is loading. Dot into function will be used to set the image in the image view. So we need to pass the image view, that is binding dot seller profile image view. And with that, our code for this part is now completed. We will continue from here in next part to implement the remaining things. For example, images of the property and options like call, SMS, chat, and map. One thing is remaining, that is we need to handle the back button click. We will do that at the end of the on create function. Binding dot toolbar back button dot set on click listener new view dot on click listener. In this click listener, we need to call the function finish. This will finish this activity and move to previous activity. Now it's time to run the app to start testing. So run the app in an emulator or in real device. For now, this will not show images of the property. We will implement that logic in next part. While the app is running, we need to copy the tag from the class level and paste in logcat. So it will show only those logs which are printed using this tag. Click any property from the list. It will show property details. Options like chat, call, SMS are showing because this property is not by currently logged in user. Now open a property that is by currently logged in user. It will hide the options call, chat, and SMS. Only map option will be visible. Similarly, you may continue testing by opening each property details to check if everything is working fine. Okay, enough for now. We will continue from here in next part.